guys, it's Beth. This week we're going to be working on our hips. That's why I called this workout Hello Hips, because you're going to be feeling your hips if you're doing this right, which is really important because one of the reasons we have some issues with our pelvic floor and core, and then also like in our knees and our ankles, is because these outside parts of the hips and also the muscles that help turn our thighs, we call them the hip rotators, are often weak in that, and they directly tie into our pelvic floor and are really an integral part of our core. So we want to make sure that we are really addressing them, and that's what this is going to do today. So what you're going to need, I have some of these things beside me. You'll probably want a bolster. You may not need it, but it's a good thing to have. A yoga block, and then either your half cylinder here or a rolled towel. And then you absolutely don't need a resistance band, but if you want a little added difficulty on our monster walk, it is really helpful. So we're going to start down on the floor. You're going to use your half cylinder or rolled towel to prop your head up on. And then if you're like me, and get your yoga block too. If you're like me, I have super tight hamstring. So if I try to put my legs in the air straight, I can't get them all the way up without really rounding my back. And we don't want that. We want to have a pretty nice neutral spine like we usually do. So if this is you, get a bolster. You can get some stacks of pillow or stacks of blankets or towels. And you're going to literally prop your hips up on that. And then now you can see, and you may have to try it a little bit. I have a much better. It's going to reduce the amount of tension on my back. So this first one is called human pez. So for human pez, after we're propped up here, if we need it, take the block, put it between your thighs, right above your knees. You can flex your feet, and if you need to lower your feet down a little bit to keep, because you want these knees nice and straight, keep those legs straight, and you're going to internally and externally rotate your thighs. So we call it human pez because you should see how this yoga block is coming in and out like a pez dispenser. So we're just squeezing, using our thighs to move this block, pushing it in, pushing it towards us, away, towards. So we can do this like 5 more times. 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead, bring that block down. And then I want you to come up to standing. Find your really good neutral stance. Outside edges are aligned. Now we're going to just gently shift our weight over to the right side. And I want you to put your hands on your hips, squeeze this hip down together as we lift this foot slightly off the floor. Just don't shift this way. Use that hip to bring it up and down. Squeeze up and make sure that weight is towards the back and towards your heel. You should be able to lift your toes. We're going to do 2 more, 5 on each side. 1 more. Good. Come down to the other side. Look at your feet. Make sure they're still hip distance apart. Bringing the weight, shifting it over, squeezing, using these outside muscles to come up. So we squeeze it up and down. Now, if you can't come up yet, just simply squeeze it to the point that you feel maybe your toe lifting up. And that's enough. And if you can, then go ahead and bring that foot all the way up. And then bring it down. If you have your resistance band, go ahead and put it above your knees. And we're going to do what we call the monster walk. So I want you to come over on the one end of your mat here. Get those feet nice and aligned. You want to go ahead and lead like you have somebody pulling a string on the outside of your heel. You don't want those feet to turn out. We want to keep them nice and parallel. If anything, they may look like they're turned in a little bit. And you're going to listen and walk as It's not a big kick. We are literally, you should really feel the squeeze in this outer hip. And 2 more off to the side. Excuse me guys, I'm getting over that cold. And then back. 1, 2, 3. It's about 5 to 7 steps. Good. Okay, take that off. We're coming back down to the floor again. Get that bolster. Doing another round of these. Bolster those hips up. Yoga block comes up. Nice neutral spine. Straight legs. Flex feet. Bring your legs down if needed. And squeeze it in and out. Really rotating. Explore that range of motion of those hips and those rotators. This is a really nice one. 3, 2, and 1. All right, take it out. Coming back up again, this time taking your yoga block. We're gonna list off the block. So bring that foot nice and parallel. It's nice you can line it up with the edge. Get that weight shifted and then squeeze up. And this time, foot is flexed. See how far you can come down without tapping that toe. Well, I tapped. This gets a little more range of motion. And last one. Woo! Switch sides. Yeah, I'm feeling that a little bit. Starting to feel the burn in those hips. So again on this, shift the weight, push through that heel, bring it up, down. This is good for balance too, especially after you've had a cold. 2 more. Woo. Oh yeah, all right. Yoga block can go over to the floor for a minute. Get that band again if you're using it. Again, right about over those hips, or I'm sorry, above those knees, and walking to the side. Really leading. You can see my feet stay nice and parallel. We're leading over. Kick your block out of the way if you need to. And you can see when you come in, you don't need to come in really far. It's just enough to keep the tension on that band. Ooh, you guys feeling that? I am, okay. Holy cow. All right. So next thing we're gonna do, last part of this little series is we're gonna explore a little bit of one leg stance. But the first thing I want you to do is simply come down and just try to do a forward fold, however you do it. So if you see how I do it, you can see a lot of rounding in my back, which means I'm really using my spine to reach down. So this time I want you to try to shift your weight to the back, nice neutral stance, and without thrusting like you're doing a swan dive. Okay, so our ribs are in neutral. Send those hips back as you come forward and only hinge through the hips. And then bring it back up. Don't worry about breathing. Breathe however you want to. Again, sending those hips backwards as you come from the hips. Neutral and up. All right, so this may be enough if you want, but I want you to try this other part. Next, we're going to do a single leg. So it's kind of like the posterior reach we did, or the anterior reaches we've done, but we're just going to come, and again, come down and come up, even if you lose your balance, and see how you do that. Most of us kind of shift and get our weight shifted over to the side where we're like dumping into our hip. So this time when you do it, and I'll turn sideways here in a second, I want you to list like we did before, and I want you to only hinge from those hips. You can use your back toe is a tripod. So let me come sideways here. So if you need to, bring the toe back, lift up so you're really feeling the engagement in that hip, and come forward. Let's just do 2 here. And I want you, or actually, I'll tell you in a second. Okay, switch legs. I know that was only a couple, but I'll tell you why in a second. The next one, lift up. Just coming down through the hip and up. Just 3 on this side. Really pushing through that heel to come up. If you're feeling your weight come to your toe, push those hips back. All right, last challenging part here. We're going to try to keep these hips lined. So same thing as we did before, listing over. Now when you come over, really feel, get your hands right on the front of your hip bones. And I want you to try to keep them level. It's hard. You may not come down as far, but that's okay. You should really feel this hip working. We're going to do 3, actually let's do 5, so 4 more. Send those hips back. Keep that back toe if you need. Adjust, push up. And 1 more. Oh. Yeah, you should feel that. It's a different feeling. It's harder. And that's okay because we want to engage these hips. 1 more on this side. Send those hips back. Whoa. Come up. Switching sides. 5 on this side. And then we are done. So, list. And then try to keep them nice and straight. Send the hip back there. I keep forward. I can feel myself twisting, so I try to correct. That was 1. 2. And you want to keep this leg straight. 3. 2 more, okay? 4. 1 more. Oh, God, I felt it right there. All right. Grab your rolled towel. Grab your half dome. Take that inside foot. You're going to do a nice calf stretch. Go ahead. I'm going to bring that foot up. Hang the head. We'll go all the way down. Letting all of that stretch out. Giving your hips a little bit of a break. Of course, you can hold this longer than this. Just a few more breaths here. Sorry guys, I've been fighting this for a few weeks now. Alright, other side. Foot up, heel down. Make sure you're nice neutral stance. Walking the foot up. And then ribs are down. Head is hanging. Nice and relaxed. So guys, try to get this in 3 times this week, at least. If you can't get the video in, then fall back over to your weekly vital cores and your quick fixes in there. Or I'm sorry, your daily ones that you get via text. And I will see you guys again next week. Can't wait to hear how you guys do with this. Bye-bye.